Welcome to the city, Mastermind City. Hi, I'm Faye Chappell.
And I'm Stacey Maynard. Join us for a vibrant, inspiring, and uplifting talk as we focus on how you can make a lasting impact on a global scale. Because the truth is, we're here because we want you to win.
So are you ready to surround yourself with success? Because you're in the right place. Welcome to the city. So I woke up, so as you guys know, I'm up north, and I woke up to it's just over 6 inches the first night. And it was, I'd never shoveled the top of my car before. So it was a new experience because I was like, the brush doesn't work.
When it's that heavy, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I've only done it once when there's been that much snow. It's not fun to shovel the top.
No. And then I was like, should I attempt to go and get stuck in the snow? Okay. And then luckily I got stuck, put my thing on whatever in my Jeep to snow. I don't know what it is, the thing. And I managed to work my way out. But it's funny because I was supposed to let the chickens out, right?
Right.
So
chickens don't like snow though.
They don't like snow. And so I was like throwing like tomatoes to get them out. Nope. They were like, They went like this, touched their toe, and they were like,
Then you wish you could do that. So number one, I'm shocked that chickens are that smart. So good for them for not liking snow. And I just wish I could do that. Nope, not today.
No, thanks. Not today.
No, thank you.
I'm learning to adjust. I'm back in Toronto on Thursday though. So I'm learning to adjust. It's a different life because what's really interesting is when you're in a climate, like for those of you who have and you're in Colorado, so you're in a big city, but you still get dumped with that much snow. When you're in a different environment and, I've got my toque on for my American friends. What do they call them? Beanies or something,
Beanies,
right?
I think.
It's a toque here. So I've got my toque on and I've got my gloves and I'm like shoveling and I look really attractive. And then I'm thinking, everybody in Toronto is walking around with their nice Toronto clothes on. And I'm wearing like boots and it's just
mucklucks and
mucklucks. Remember those? Remember the big furry mucklucks back in the day? I wonder if they're back in. I'd like a pair of those.
Exactly. Well, it was funny because, again, I knew that there was a lot of snow, so I was looking for boots that came past my knee. I'm like,
yes.
I wonder how much snow they actually get, because if I get stuck there and I have to go to the chickens, I need boots, not boots.
No, I want a pair of those. I forgot. All my girlfriends, remember we all wore them. They were mucklucks, I think, and they were furry and they had little pom-poms on them.
Yes.
Yeah, I like those. If anyone knows where I can get it, but they must be back in style. They probably came back and went out again.
Yeah, we may have missed it. But because everything that's old is new again with a twist.
I think it's time to bring them back. So the exciting part for me about this time of year is, as I segue, not even remotely smoothly, but as I segue, is that, I'm putting away, I'm getting things in order, right? So I'm putting everything away. And I feel like most of you who are listening, you probably feel guilty because you should be doing work, right? You should be doing something, that's obviously going to generate income because that's very important. What I realized is that I really need to, I'm not very good at functioning with mess and with stuff on top of me. So, but what I'm excited about is the fact that, okay, I'm going to take, I'm going to do obviously our regular day-to-day work, but I'm going to just take it easy and put everything in order and where I want it to be and get all of that done so that in January, so we do a New Year's challenge every January, and it is fantastic. And so many people do it. And it really sets you up for the year ahead. So you do all your goals and all that stuff. And this year, we're doing it obviously again, and the same people come and we get more people, and it's really awesome. And it really does do your plan for the year. But I'm like, okay, this year, I'm even more excited about it because I know that when I get everything clean and clear this month, that I'll be ready to do it. And I think, Stacey, we should share our plan with everybody this year because I like to spring things on Stacey. I'd like to. So what I'm
One
thinking
sec.
about,
I'll write it on my hand.
okay, so what I'm thinking about is this New Year's Day challenge just starts January 3rd, I think, right?
Yes, that's the
And
Monday.
we plan like it's 5 days, and you walk away
January
with a
3rd,
1-year plan, and it's so awesome. I mean, I can't even describe how great
Well,
this thing is.
just before you go forward, like just to talk about that, like the first year that I did it, and it was, many years ago, and I loved it, and it sets you up for success, but you've added to it, and then I've added to it.
Yeah.
Each and every year. So it's like 5 days, you've got goal hacking, you've got planning, you've got a 1-page business plan, which is brilliant, goal tracking, some organization, some productivity, like all of the
And
stuff.
the first part is really resetting, right? So getting rid of all the old baggage. So it's really
and looking back too, right? Because
But what I was thinking is, okay, so we should really go one step further this year and share, as everyone's doing it, share ours. What are we doing? Let's tell everyone what we're doing, how we're planning, because we haven't, we know what we're doing next year, but we haven't really formalized it on paper.
Exactly.
And so I'm thinking it's 5 days, and I was thinking we should go back to, which we did a couple years ago. Sorry, Stacy, but every day do a live Q&A.
Yeah.
So every single
we did
day,
that a few years ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
We
So
did it
this is really exciting. So every day we're going to do a live Q&A.
Maybe last year, because it was the beginning of 2021, and we didn't want to look back on 2020. Maybe that was why we didn't do it.
That might have been it. So I think, and I was thinking about a bonus, but I'm not going to say it out loud because then you'll get mad at me. So we'll save that for next week. But the reason I'm bringing it up, I realized yesterday that I'm in need of it this year.
Right.
I'm in need of it. And I really think that a lot of people are, because as you said, we kind of glossed over last year because everyone was still going, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, it was like the COVID hangover a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like even though we're still sort of in the midst of it, I feel like more so than sort of the beginning of 2021, the beginning of 2022, people can now start to see what's going to be happening.
Yeah. So really exciting. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to, I love planning, New Year's planning. I love it. I'm one of those people that, and I do it, a half a year, etc. But January is like the most fun, right? Because you feel like fresh and new and revigorated after, the holidays. I believe that we are appreciating the holidays more now because of everything we've gone through. Yeah. Right? Like I haven't seen my one son. I've seen him once in like 2 years.
That's crazy.
I'm appreciating the fact that you can get together now. And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking it's not so commercial this year.
Yeah, I feel like there's also, I was watching the news last night and I feel like there's a little bit of a you do you feel to it. Like if you feel comfortable, like, obviously limiting massive gatherings as with, all the restrictions and stuff. But I just feel like this year it's like, well, if you feel comfortable with this or if you feel comfortable with that, it's not the government kind of, coming down and saying, this is what you must do and here are the rules. Again, the final decision is kind of up to you as opposed to the government kind of saying, no, you can't, and shaking their finger. No, you can't.
Yeah. But let's make simple presents, no ridiculous over the top, stuff anymore, because I guess everyone realizes it's not really that important, right?
But if you are going to get presents, you need to order them early. That's the one piece of advice, because as we know, getting parts and stuff like that and things are delayed, items are delayed, delivery dates are delayed, getting pieces and parts for things is delayed. Yeah. So make sure you can get what you want.
Yeah. And you know what, you figure it out if you can't, you know what I mean? Like you figure it out, you do something different, you do it a little more simple. But I think, I don't know anyone that's like, oh my God, I have to have this Christmas, or, I mean, I think everyone last year, did spend a lot of money on home offices and being able to connect
with computers and internet and
Yeah. So I think this year it's a little bit, okay, let's go back to basics and maybe, buy some good books or do something that you haven't enjoyed in a while, or, do something that, you can go out and have fun with, as opposed to, or work on yourself. Do, take some courses, do something that's indulgent for you as opposed to buying stuff that really people don't need. And I've learned that lesson, moving, like, you have so much stuff. Everybody has so much stuff, and there's nowhere to put all your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff. And what do you do?
Like, how many, of the same item? And I think we're in a more of a disposable world where, if we can't find something, back in the old days, you had your storage unit, and, if we can't find something, we just go buy a replacement because they're so cheap. Right.
Right.
And then you realize how many power bars can you own?
I'm not going to count the amount of power bars you own.
So it's just like, because it's like, oh, go to the dollar store. You know what I mean? Everything's
so cheap. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's kind of time to go, okay, what do I really need? Right? What do I really need as opposed to the rest of the stuff?
Well, I was so funny that you said that, because I was in the mall yesterday. There wasn't very busy, like, at all, which was interesting. Usually this time of year, Santa, I felt bad. He was sitting there on his own. There was no kids lined up. There was no one. It was like a ghost town. So poor Santa.
So you went and talked to him?
No.
No.
I was busy.
I would have.
I had things to do, people to see, places to go. But funny, I went to a bookstore. It was packed.
Yeah. See?
Like, I was shocked. Like, there was more people in this tiny bookstore than there was in the entire mall.
I can't even tell you. Well, you've seen them. I have a stack of books that I've purchased over the past, year, I guess, as we were in COVID. I haven't read yet, but that's my thing. And as you guys know, we have a book summary. So for those of you guys who still like video summaries of books, we have book summaries. So if you go on to mastermind.city, themastermind.city, right on the front, it'll say sign up, and every 3 times a week, you get a video summary. So you don't even have to read the book, right? What we realized, Stacey and I, is that we really like to read books, and it's been a while since we actually spent some time doing it. So we will be in January. We'll be announcing it probably when we do the challenge. We will be doing a monthly book club mastermind, basically, where we're going to go in depth into a book and put together like an action class to make sure that you can take the learnings out of that and implement them. So yeah, there'll be business, but there'll also be some other ones that aren't necessarily business, but that they're personal development, but things that might be influential to getting better. So I'm really excited.
And I think that's really important, because unfortunately what ends up happening is you read a book and then you go, that was great. And now I'm going to put it because a lot of books are very pretty. So now I'm going to put them on my bookshelf.
Exactly.
And that's where it's going to stay. So so that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about that, because I do like reading a lot of personal development stuff. And again, that implementation and taking the learnings from the book and how to implement them into your own life or business is the crucial part. It's Absolutely. Like, I talk about, like, it's good to have a plan, but you have to do the action to implement the plan.
Exactly. So that's kind of exciting. But you're right. I think people are more looking at books. They're like going, okay, I need, I want some stuff other than, I think we're streamed out. Like, I mean, streaming's great and I watch it all the time. I like all the stations, but sometimes you're like, I just don't want to get into another show. You know what I mean? I just don't want to. Let's just sit down and read a book and do something a little more quiet. I think it's good for our brain, obviously. Concentrate and imagine and think, as opposed to mindlessly watching something.
And sometimes, you need both. And you know what also gets you off your phone? Because I get lost in TikTok, especially last week when we were doing our TikTok challenge. It was fun. Like, I had a lot of fun with it, trying to come up with ideas and thinking. So I got lost in the rabbit hole of TikTok, but I came out. I'm really happy about how the challenge went. So that was really good. So yes, but sometimes getting yourself off the screen, even though the mindless sometimes is necessary, we also need to focus on other stuff.
And the TikTok challenges, if those of you guys who missed it, you can still go ahead and sign up and go through the 5 days. And if you're really interested in getting proficient and making sure that you know what you're doing, and very simply, it's not challenging at all. It's probably one of the easiest real platforms, because you don't really have to like plan out a big lengthy post, or anything like that. So it's kind of cool. So if you've been sort of,
On the
sneaking
fence?
around looking at it, you're not
From a
really.
distance. Well, you know what? Again, I think I mentioned this before, and I am going to do a sort of 2021 wrap up and predictions. I do this every year, the social media predictions for 2022. And for the past 5 years, or maybe even 6 years, video has been on the trend list, right?
Yeah.
It's video is the next year, like video is bigger. But actually this year, it's interesting because a lot of the experts are talking about what platforms are decreasing, because now there's a lot more options.
Yeah.
So video, we know now video is just a thing. So we don't have to put it on the trend list. We don't have to put it on what to do for the next year. It's a thing. Exactly. It's part of our world now. So we don't have to have that, which is great. But what's interesting is probably 5 or 6 different articles that I've looked at, because I do a lot of research to come up with sort of what the top trends are for the following year, is less Facebook, more TikTok.
Right.
And I'm finding that really interesting that we've never talked about less of something. We always talk about what's the best next thing and what should you be doing. But now we're talking, because there's so many options, we have to figure out where to focus our time. So many of the articles are saying less Facebook and stuff and more TikTok. And I believe it's because you can't hide. Like, it's so easy to hide on Facebook and Instagram. You can put up a great picture. You can have a very polished profile picture that you're putting on a beautiful image, and you can get a copywriter to write this beautiful thing, and you're good to go. And there's a lot of AIs that are crafting different copy and stuff like that. So very easy to look good on some of those platforms, but the authenticity comes from you showing up on a platform that, as we said in the challenge, the captions are not the primary. The primary is actually the videos. So it's interesting how we're moving to that.
I do think in a way we have been saying less in a way, because we've said a million times that we don't really use Facebook, right? Very much anymore.
True.
We use it for, we use it to post events and stuff, but you post more on LinkedIn for events. And so we've sort of changed. And I think for me personally, I can't talk for you, but for me personally, Facebook is exhausting to me.
Right.
It's exhausting. There's too many comments. For those of you guys who I never say happy birthday to, because the only time I ever say happy birthday is when I see Stacy said happy birthday to somebody, and that prompts me, right? But I find it too exhausting to be able to see everybody's information, right? And Facebook still is more personal. It is. You post a lot of what your kids are doing and what, school and this and that. I don't have the energy anymore for it. And I just like to be able to look at quick little things. So if all my Facebook friends were on Instagram or TikToks, Instagram stories, not Instagram posts, if they were, and not reels, if they were on stories or on TikTok, I would be more apt to see all your stuff.
Yeah.
But I just don't. And I know, especially with Facebook, I know the messages, mine's always lit up. So I never go back. But I think, again, the same thing is it was exhausting because you were getting so many bot messages, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
About, because the whole bot messenger thing came in and everyone's selling you stuff. We didn't really embrace that. We didn't do that for our business, because again, if it exhausts me, then it's going to exhaust somebody else.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah. So I think we did allude to it, but in a different way, right? For different reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. It is, Facebook pages are just not as popular. And for me, when I just see ads now, like it's all sponsored stuff, it's the personal stuff. So again, the personal feed and Facebook groups, still super engaging when you're on that platform, and it's great, but not so much on that. But I'm a lot of ads.
Because most of the ads now that I see are Instagram, because I don't spend time on Facebook. But now I'm a little bit afraid, because they obviously are owned by the same company, by Meta. I'm a little bit afraid of Instagram is it going to get saturated like Facebook, and we're going to go, oh, we're tired of it too.
Yeah.
I don't know, because we already have done that with posts. Posts are not as popular anymore, right, as stories. I'd rather watch somebody say something in 10 seconds than read their entire post, which might take me a while. So, and you usually know right away if you're interested. Now, TikTok, you get a little bit lost, but
yeah, you can go down a rabbit hole. But I think what I like is that they're saying it. So, for example, again, the fully crafted. Are they writing it? Is it a bot? Is it AI? Is it a copywriter? Like, you don't know from an authentic perspective. But on TikTok or any of the videos or Instagram stories, they're physically saying those words, and I can see them saying it. I can see their reaction and the look on their face, and you know it's coming from them. So I like that piece.
And personally, I said this on our challenge, but I like TikToks that someone's just talking or showing me a hack or giving me some information. I'm not a big, I don't need to see you dance to the latest, song or do a big transition. And like, that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it differently. So, and I think that's an interesting thing because the original TikTok, Musical.ly, whatever it was called, was young kids. And they are, and that's who's doing all the transitions and everything. And as the demographic changes a little bit, I'm not that interested in that stuff, but I'm interested in other things. So it'll be interesting to see what platform pops up now.
The only social media platform, it's been interesting, right? You watched it. They're not on Facebook because us old people are on Facebook. And then they then they created Instagram. So all the teenagers were on Instagram. And I remember when I used to teach social media safety, Instagram was really big at that point. But us moms kind of took it over, or us, I don't want to say moms, but us people, older people took it over, and then they got off of Instagram, and then they're moving, but then they moved to Snapchat.
Yeah, nobody's ever taken over Snapchat. They're still it.
Yes, right? That's the interesting part, that they seem to own that platform, and that is their platform of choice. That's when they communicate on. That is how they engage, and we are not taking over that one. But TikTok comes along, and boom, they get onto TikTok, and we go, oh, it's for like the teenagers. And then all of a sudden, the 40, 50 plus crew got on TikTok, and now they're getting
it's interesting, right? I don't know. I mean, we both have accounts. We've both been on it. I was on it for 30 seconds. I didn't like it.
I don't feel that same affinity to it. And I understand it. I've taught it. I know how to use it really well. It's just not for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how things evolve and how, what they're going to pick up next, because obviously they got to pick up something because they're not going to stay on TikTok for long. Those kids at the time that were on TikTok are older now. And so maybe it'll have a different lifespan than the rest of, and maybe it will age a little more gracefully than Facebook. Sorry, we really don't slam Facebook. We're not doing that at all.
No.
It's just that it's it's like the grandfather of social media. Right?
Yeah, it was the original.
So, you have to kind of, and then there's other little different kind of social media things that have always stayed, like Reddit's a big one. Like Reddit has never wavered. Reddit's Reddit. And it's like, I always say it's like Reddit's for smart people.
That's true.
So, and when I need to find out something, I go to Reddit.
But you know what? The kids use that as resource and to find information, because they'll also tease me. They're like, oh, did you find that out on Reddit? And I'm like, no, I actually know that. My encyclopedia that I read when I was like a kid.
But it's not like well known. Reddit's not well known across the board. If you say Facebook, everybody knows what you're talking about. If you say Reddit, everyone goes, I think I've heard of it. You know what I mean? If you're a really great software creator or a social media strategist, now's the time to really look around and go, what's going to replace TikTok?
Yeah, or what's just the next thing? Because TikTok, again, it used to be Musical.ly, and then it died, and then it came back with a new life and a new brand and a new focus, which was so totally took kind of what they knew and what they did well of with Musical.ly and that lip syncing and stuff like that, and kind of recreated something that made it even better. So I think like they saw what was missing in the marketplace. Clubhouse tried.
Yeah, what happened to Clubhouse? Is anyone on Clubhouse still?
It's funny you say that, because it's still thing. Because I got a few emails from different people that I'm on their list to come and check them out on Clubhouse. They're doing really well on Clubhouse. Apparently it's still a thing. But I think with like Twitter has audio rooms, Facebook has audio rooms. So I don't think it's going to be as big, but they really tried. I mean, we've talked many times about how Clubhouse failed and what they did wrong right out of the gate. Yeah. But good for them for trying to find sort of their niche with audio only, and that they weren't on video and conversations and live and all that kind of stuff, almost like live radio. But it's not like, it was very like it came out really strong and then it sizzled very fast.
Well, I guess the question would be is like, how are they making money? Not the people on it, the actual Clubhouse, because if they have a tiny little niche, tiny little one, right? The people who like Clubhouse, even if it's tiny, it isn't really tiny, but even if it's tiny, it's okay. Because if you can monetize it, it can be a successful, profitable company. So I guess, I don't know, I haven't been on it in a while, but I guess my question is, I mean, they had a lot of angel investors and brought in a lot of capital, but eventually you have to make money on the platform or it can't sustain itself. So
yeah, because every other platform you can run advertising, right? And I'm very, like, I'm seeing influencers doing a lot of things on different platforms now, Instagram, paid sponsorships and stuff like that. So, I mean, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even Snapchat, full like advertising world. You can get in there, you can advertise, you can do all these things. I don't know what the model is for Clubhouse.
And you brought something up. I know we can't talk forever, but the whole influencer model, I think, is kind of, it's not as strong anymore, right? Because it's oversaturated to everybody's feeds. Like, you're getting sick and tired of people, doing recommendations that you don't really think they do use or whatever. They're just, they know they can make money. I mean, we've talked about it before. We only promote things that we actually use on a day-to-day basis in our business. We're not going to just say, oh, this is cool, do this, if we haven't tried it, because we don't believe in it. I don't know. I think the whole influencer thing is getting a little bit shady now.
Well, you don't know. And I think the challenge is that, like, I don't know about you, but I get a ton of direct messages on my Instagram account that says, we've looked at your feed and I think it'd be a really good brand ambassador for our yoga line or our fitness apparel. I'm like,
which is, some stuff doesn't even work with what you do.
And if they actually looked at my feed, I couldn't be further from that if I tried. But that's okay. So that kind of industry and stuff, but I'm seeing a lot of micro influencers doing things for their local town or, promoting different things. And it is a paid sponsorship or whatever. So I'm seeing a lot of that stuff happening more so than the bigger stuff. I think what I'm liking with like Instagram, even Reels, TikTok, video and stuff like that is the creativity. I think it's really pushing our limits on how to get out there and do things a little bit differently versus before it was, a basic ad of, a 30-second spot of like, here's the product, here's how to buy it, this is when it's on sale, here's the date, whatever, go. Now it's being woven into your world that I don't even think you notice anymore.
Well, that's true. I mean, if you're using it, right? If you're you can show that you use it in your day-to-day life, whatever it is, whether it's, a physical product or not, that it makes sense, right? But if it's just kind of like, here it is, you know what I mean? You just kind of go, well, do they really use it? I mean, for me, a lot of the ones that I don't like are the whole supplements, vitamins, that stuff, because I don't believe that they're really using it on a daily basis. Anyone can obviously. So if we ever, there's things that I take every day. So does Stacy, but we don't promote or push it or anything. So if we did, we would say, here, this is us taking it. Like, I mean, this is our daily routine, but I wouldn't want to do something that, says, oh, it's great. We hear it's great, but we don't really use it.
Yeah. And that's why we love different pieces of software, which is why we're creating sort of a resource section. So you can be rest assured that anything that's on that page, we've used, we've tried, We literally do use it on a regular basis. And actually there's one right now that I'm trying out that we just purchased. Yeah. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm not 100% sure we're going to keep it. I'm on the fence and I'm going to give it a shot. But, you know, just because we buy something and just because we try it doesn't mean that we're going to keep using it. We do our due diligence. I try it, I buy it, I do trials, figure it all out. Yeah. And if it's on our resource page, it's something that we love,
We've said that a lot. We work with a lot of smaller companies, not smaller, a lot of companies like AppSumo who work with a lot of smaller companies who are launching their software. And the good news is you can always buy it very inexpensively and try it out. And you can refund it in 60 days if you don't like it. And so that's really what I would promote to everyone. Try it out. Like when you buy it, try it out. And if it does, like it might be a great software, but not great for you. Right. So, you know, so you have to say, okay, will I do this? Because, you know, I've bought lots in the past that I haven't really used, but I didn't buy it from them. So as long as you can find a place that you can refund it if you don't use it, then I think it's the way to go. Because a lot of us get caught up in the, oh my God, I must have this. Somebody's promoting it that uses it all the time, but there's no refund in it. Right. Yeah. And so you get it and you realize it's either way above what you can understand or it's not quite right for your business. Like I saw one the other day, I didn't even send you, and I really liked it. The problem was it didn't connect to our regular software. And so I was like, if there's no API, if there's no connection, I do not want to log into another piece of software and transfer things over and back again. So unless it's very simple and seamless, as much as I liked it, I just was like, well, that seems like a lot of extra work.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
instead of doing a lot of extra work, you could come to our New Year's challenge and you can plan out for the year ahead. I keep repeating it because I'm so excited. Again, this is our favorite challenge of the year.
Yeah. New year, new you, year of being epic. I will put the link in the notes below so that you guys can sign up. It's ready to go. Starts on January 3rd. So we'll see you then. No, we'll see you next week.
You can work with us live Q&A, and it'll be fun and it'll really get you set up. And here's the thing. If you can't make January 3rd, it's okay because you have the replay. So if you want to, you know, click in the next day or the day after, it's okay too. If you want to do it, repeat it in 6 months from now, you can. The only thing is on January 3rd, we'll be live every day for 5 days and you'll want to join us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us in the city. If you're ready to make a lasting impression on a global scale, you can learn more at joingia.com. That's joingia.com.
So go there now because the world is waiting for you.